Okay, here we go. So this is the bigger truss. Let's get started here. So what do we have to figure out in this truss? That's a good place to start. So we have we got two reactionary forces here, right? We have one reactionary force there. So far we know we'll have reactionary force D in the x direction. Okay, we'll have reactionary force E in the x direction. And we will have reactionary force E in the y direction. Okay, now then we got our members. Our members that we have to figure out. We have AB. We have AC. We have BC. Okay. We have CE. I should have marked these off as I went, right? AB, AC, BC. All right. CE. Okay. We have BD. We have BE, and we have DE. There we go. All right, so those are all the forces we have to figure out. So let's get started. So the first thing we always do is the sum of the moments. So the sum of the moments. And for this one, we always pick our pivot point to be the pin, which is going to be E. All right, and we have to start adding up our forces. So what do we got? Well, we got this force here, which is going to be 500 times its distance, perpendicular distance of 4 feet. Okay. We have another one here, which is going to be 500 times the perpendicular distance of 2. Okay. We also should figure out our angles, but actually the angles are going to be good because they all are 45 degrees. So sorry to go back on a tangent, but any of these angles were 2 and 2, right? And this is going to be 2 as well, so 2 and 2. So all of these will be 45 degrees. Okay? All right, let's finish this off. The other moment we have is going to be the RDX right here, pushing back to fight against these other two moments. Now, let's make sure our signs are right. Well, let me do this first. So RDX, so I'm going to write, whoops, not 5. RDX times the distance for RDX, which is 2 meters. Now, let's make sure our signs are right. So the 500 here and the 500 there are both going clockwise. And if I put my thumb down on the screen and curl my fingers in the direction of those 500s, I get a thumbs up. That's a positive experience, a positive for both of those. Whoa, and I put negatives. Why did I do that? All right, so those are both positives here. All right. That means RDX is pushing clockwise. I put my thumb down to curl my fingers in the direction of RDX. So this is my negative right there. Okay, so I'm going to fix this just really quickly and make that a negative right there. All right, and these moments add up to 0. So we can do a little math here. 500 times 4, that will be 2,000. Plus 500 times 2, that will be 1,000. Minus RDX times 2 is equal to 0. All right, and I'm going to rearrange that to be 2 RDX, just because that would be a lot better. So 2 RDX. All right, I'm going to add 2 RDX to both sides. All right, and I'm going to add that together too, so I can add these two. And I have 3,000 is equal to 2 RDX. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And I get RDX is equal to 1,500. Cool. All right, there we go. I got one down, 1,500. Great. All right, now, next thing is we're going to be doing the sum of the forces. Let's do the sum of the forces in the Y. So forces in the Y for the whole thing. What forces do we have? Well, we have a 500 here, another 500 there. Both of these are pushing down, so I'd make both of these negative. And the only other force that we see in the Y direction, which is fighting it from falling down, is that R E Y. Okay, so do a little algebra on that one. We get negative 1,000 plus, and that's equal to 0, plus REY is equal to 0. So add 1,000. Well, that's 1,000. And we get that REY is equal to 1,000 pounds of force. So REY, 1,000. All right. Now, sum of the forces in the X. Whoops, I don't want that. I can delete it. Okay. Sum of the forces in the X. We have, well, what forces do we have going on in the X? I see the RDX, and I see REX, and those are the only forces acting on it. So, and those add up to 0, right? And we already have that RDX is 1,500. So we got 1,500 plus Rex is equal to 0. And that means that we're going to have REX is equal to a negative 1,500. Okay? Okay. So there we go. That's what we got so far. And looking at the forces, that really means the negative 1,500 here means that if RDX here is 1,500, that's really meaning that RDX is going to the left, so that means the REX must be going to the right. Okay? All right, so let's look at members. Let's go to the joints and break down joints. So we got to do A, B, we got a ton of them. I'm going to clean this up a little bit because I don't need all those marks again. There, okay. All right, let's do A. So I'm going to go, actually I don't want to go to joint A just yet. I would love to go to a spot where maybe I already have some values. And I have values for E and I have values for D already. Those would be easier. So let's do, E has this extra member. Sooner or later we're going to have to deal with it, but I don't want to deal with it right now. So I'm going to do D, joint D. Okay, joint D we have in the X, and we have joint D in the Y. So let's sum of the forces of D in the X. So we're going to do sum of the forces in the X. What do we got? Well, D, we have our REX. We already figured out. I'm sorry, not REX, RDX. So we got RDX plus BD. And those are the only two things I see going on in the X direction, not BC, but BD. All right. and that adds up to 0. Well, our dx is going to be already given. We have it, which is 1,500. BD we don't know, and it adds up to 0. I should probably put REX and negative 1,500 in here. There. All right. So BD is going to be a negative 1,500. Cool. All righty. DY. Let's see. So dy, what forces do we have in the sums of the forces in the y direction? Well, we have only ED or DE. We only have DE because there's no reactionary force in X. So that adds up to 0. So we have DE is equal to 0. DE, 0. Awesome. All right. Let's do the next one. What's another force we can do? All right, so now we got, why don't we do E? So we have E in the X and E in the Y. Okay. And did I put in? Oh, I put the negative BD in. All right, good. So E in the X, what do we got? We got sum of the forces in the X for ED. Well, we have CE, that's a horizontal. We have REX. And we also have the horizontal component of BE. So we have BE in the X. And that's going to add up to 0. And I keep doing those notes somehow. Get out of here. All right, BEX is equal to 0. Okay? Well, we don't have a lot of information here, but let's plug in what we do know. We know that CE, we don't know that, so I'm going to write it CE. REX, we do know, is going to be negative 1,500. And we have BEX, we don't know. We'll just leave it there. Okay. So we're going to have to come back and do that one. That's adding up to 0. All right, what about the sums in the Y? And I could do a little bit of algebra for that, but I'll do it later. All right, sums of the forces in the Y, we have EY, so we got the pin, we have REY, okay. We have ED, and we have BEY. Those add up to 0. Well, let's look at this. We got REY already, right? So we can put that one in. We got 1,000 there. ED, we know that one already, or DE, either way. That's 0. And BEY, we don't know, but we can figure it out. Okay, so we have that BEY. If I do a little algebra, I get that BEY is equal to negative 1,000. Now, if we look at this triangle, we got BEY like that. Or there, if that's BE, BEY is going to be BE times sine of the angle. And we know the angle is 45. So We know BEY is negative 1,000. But so what we'll do, BEY is also equal to BE times sine of 45 degrees. If we plug in negative 1,000 for BE, we divide both sides by sine of 45. Well, we can figure out BE. BE is going to be, I need to get my calculator for this one. So negative 1,000 divided by sine 45. And I get negative 1414. So we just figured out BE. Okay. Awesome. All right. Now let's go over the other side. Well, if you know right triangles, you know in special triangles, that means if it's 45, 45, 90, BEX and BEY have to be equal because it's a 45-degree angle here. So I can plug in that BEX. If BEY was negative 1,000, I can make BEX also negative 1,000. So I really have this is negative 1,000 as well. So I have CE plus negative 2,500 is equal to 0. Therefore, CE is equal to 2,500. So CE is equal to 2,500 right there. All right, we're getting there. What else do we got? Let's keep our line going here. Let's go to another point. Let's go to point B since we have some B's already. All right, that works for me. We got BE and BD. Let's go to B. So that's not it. B in the X and B in the Y. Not X, Y. All right. Sum of the forces in the X, sum of the forces in the Y. Both are going to add up to 0. So let's look at some of the forces in the X. At point B, holy mackerel. So we got the X, the horizontal component of AB, ABX. We got BD. And really that's it. Oh, I'm sorry, no, but we also have the horizontal component BEX, right? Because we got this piece here. So we figured out that piece, we got to get this piece, so BE in the X. And those all add up to 0. Okay, what about some of the forces in the Y? Some of the forces in the Y, we get AB in the Y. All right, we got that P. So we got AB in the Y. We have BC. We have BE in the Y. And that's about it. And those add up to 0. Okay. Well, let's plug in what we know and see if it's worth calculating and figuring out right now. So ABX, we do not have that yet. So ABX will stay as ABX. BD, we have that, negative 1,500. Okay. And BE in the X is negative 1,000. And again, you get a stupid note. Negative 1,000. That adds up to 0. Well, hey, that was easy. So now we have ABX is plus negative 2,500 is equal to 0. Therefore, ABX is equal to a positive 2,500. All right. And we can solve for AB, but we'll do that in a second. Let's take a step back, do the next one. So we got ABY. Well, if we just got ABX, and again, we got a special right triangle, 45, 45, 90, we can put the ABY as 2,500 as well. BC, do we know that one yet? We do not. So that's still BC. And BEY, Beyonce, is going to be negative 1,000. Okay? So BC plus 1,500 is equal to 0. BC is equal to negative 1,500. Well, that's sweet. Okay, so BC, we can put that in, negative 1,500. Let's do that right triangle thing again. We know that we have, and you could do Pythagorean Theorem right now, but I'll just do again, if I have this right triangle here, right, and it's really going the other way. If I have AB is looking like that, and I just figured out ABY is 2,500, and ABX is also 2,500. I could do Pythagorean Theorem, right? So I could do, oh my goodness, I don't like these notes. So I go 2,500 squared plus 2,500 squared is equal to AB squared. Don't forget to square root when you do this, but I'm going to do second square root. I'm going to do the square root early. 2,500 plus 2,500 equals 3,536. So AB equals 3,536. $35.36. Boom. Only one left. Only one left here. Let's do, we got to get AC. So, I don't know. Let's go to A now. I don't think it really matters now. Let's go to A. All right. So we have A in the X, and we have A in the Y. All right, A in the X. What do we got? We have the horizontal piece here, which is AC, and we have the horizontal piece of AB in the X. That's the only thing we got going on in the X. Oh, we also have, yeah, for the X we do. All right, so we have, what was that? AC. AC plus ABX. Yep. Is equal to 0. Double checking, right? AC and ABX, that's the only two we got. Well, we already know ABX is 2,500. So we have AC plus 2,500 is equal to 0. Therefore, AC is equal to negative 2,500. Ta-da! We don't need to go into the other steps. We are good to go. That was so much fun. I'm so glad you are here with me. Thanks so much for watching.